Hey, what's up? Handyman Miller here. I'm going to show you my collection of watches. Cheap watches that look expensive, at least in my opinion anyway. So let's go ahead and get started here right away. Okay, so instead of buying an Apple Watch, I just bought this cheap $2 knockoff for $2. Let's see here. Apple Watches are what, $500, and they don't even work on their own. You have to sync them up to your phone. But I just buy this for the watch. You know, it has other options on it. But let's fire it up. Okay, it's got the time and the date. That's really all I need. But it's got other things on here. It's got tools. It's got a calculator. It's got a stopwatch. It's got a calendar. Let's see, the different kind of watch faces that it does have. You go into your settings, go into clock type, analog 1, and that gives you that right there. Analog 2 pretty much looks the same. Clock type, analog 2. Except it doesn't have as many numbers on it. But I prefer the digital because it shows the date. So and here's what it looks like. Whoops, what am I doing here? Cancel that, whatever. I don't know what that was doing. But that's what it's going to look like when it's on your wrist. Next watch is a watch from Japan. I think I got this for like $3. It's a very sophisticated watch. I wish the battery worked on this so you could see the blue LED lights light up. But your hours are on the left, 1 through 12. Your minutes are on the right in increments of 5 through 60. So if it was 4:30, the bars would be up to 4, and then it would be across up to 30. It's kind of hard to explain, but also I took the band off of it, so I don't think I can do much with this anymore because I think the band's gone now. But that's a Japan watch there. That looks expensive. It was only like $3 or $4. Actually, this watch doesn't look expensive. It looks cheap, but I'll show it to you anyway. It's a Seahorse Watch. Here's another cheap watch. This also doesn't look expensive. The Tree of Life. It kind of looks like a brain. Actually, I'm not very fond of that watch. Well, the batteries are dead in this one too, but it's an analog and a digital all in one. I wish I could show it to you working, but this was another one that was only like $3 or $4, I think, on eBay. Next is, this watch kind of looks expensive. It's a solar powered watch, so you never have to worry about replacing the batteries, but for some reason the analog doesn't work anymore. Only the digital part works. And I also need to set the time for daylight savings, or the recent time change. I just haven't worn this watch in a while. Let's see, what else is there? This is a motion watch. And as you can see, it's not working because it's been sitting still for a long time. But if you move the watch around, it will fire up. Basically, the movement with your wrist while you're walking powers the watch. And this should start ticking now that I've moved it around. If it doesn't tick, then I'm going to be pretty embarrassed. But as you can see, it's ticking, so I'm not embarrassed. So you never have to worry about replacing batteries on this one. This is another cheap watch that looks expensive. And you can see the back here. If you can see, you can actually see the gears in there. And when you're moving it, the thing that triggers the watch to make it work moves around. Okay, next watch is my favorite watch. It's a cheap watch that looks expensive. It's an analog and it's got the date. Today's date is May 12th, 2019. It's a Loris. Never heard of that before. But I just like this watch the way it looks. And I recently just bought some new batteries for this. Well, it only takes one battery, but I bought a pack of 5 for like $2.84. So as long as the band doesn't break, I'll be set for a while. This is like the only name brand watch that I have. It's a Casio. This is another solar powered watch. And to adjust the time, you would do adjust and you would do it to your local city, the city that's closest to you. These are about 35 bucks, so these aren't cheap, but it's on the wrong time. Yeah, it's completely on the wrong time right now, so that's a total mess. So I'll have to get in gear with that. This is an LED watch. I love LED watches, and this better work. Yeah, okay, it's really hard to see, but you just push the button there and you get the time. And the face it's not scratched, it's just kind of scuffed. So with your fingernail you can clean it up. But yeah, I like my LED watch. These are like $3 on eBay all day long. But all these cheap watches come from China, so you gotta have patience. You know, it's gonna be a couple weeks before they arrive at your house. So it's not like you need a watch right away. You can just use your cell phone, you know, like a lot of people do. But I like wearing watches. I like how they look, and I like how they perform. This is a watch that just uses a standard battery. It's an analog and a digital all in one. And it looks like, again, the analog is not working. And plus I need to reset the time, so I'm just going to have to use this for the digital. So the battery's going to have to be replaced in that, but that looks like an expensive watch. And I don't know how much it cost, but here is a really cheap watch that you can get on eBay for like $3 or $4. And there's different settings where on how you can change the time on it. But the band fell off the watch, so it's cheap, it's garbage, but I like it. It's also very big on your wrist, but it's too bad that the band broke off the watch. So, you know, you get a cheap watch, you know, expect it to break. But what I usually do, what I do now, is as soon as I buy the watch, I put a drop of super glue here and here on both sides, and I let that dry overnight, and that helps reinforce the watch band. Here are a couple older watches that I found in a dresser drawer. You know, obviously I'm never going to be using these again. These are cheap watches, and I guess this doesn't really look expensive at all, but the band broke a long time ago, and I'm trying to, oh, there we go. Needs a new battery, needs a new band. I don't even remember this watch. It's been sitting in a drawer for so long, but I like the looks of it. And here's my last watch. That the dome is gone, but it's a cheap watch that looks expensive. I can't even read the name on this particular watch, but it also has a date on it, and the hour hand's missing. So this is obviously going to have to go into the garbage, but that's what the inside of the watch looks like. So there you have it. A bunch of cheap watches that look expensive. Well, that's up to you to decide. That's just my opinion. So that's it. Okay. I will catch you guys later.